بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وبعد. There's a difference in Islam between luxury and contentment. And this is a reality throughout. It's not something restricted to Islam. Even in our day-to-day lives, we can see the difference between luxury and contentment. What do I mean by this? Someone can live a luxurious life. Beautiful car, beautiful home, really well-paying job, a lot of honor in the workplace. All of these general signs are hallmarks of a successful career, very luxurious. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the person has contentment. My teacher, he told me once when he was traveling, they were going in Jamaat, so he went to a particular place, and they were invited by a very wealthy person's home. This person was so wealthy, as in he had a personal chauffeur, he, millions and millions, not in America, another country, but very, very wealthy. And subhanAllah, he said to me that when we sat down to eat, my teacher was telling me this, he witnessed this himself, they all sat down to eat, and all of the food was brought in front of each person. So you have this plate, the setting is absolutely stunning. You have a table like you're in front of a king. The plates, the cutlery, the utensils, everything is very high quality. And then the food is brought, this huge piece of lamb and chicken and biryani. It was amazing. And we're all sitting down to eat, and then the host also comes down to sit down and eat. And as we're beginning to eat, we realize he's not eating. So what does he do? One of the maids or the servants over there brings the food for him, puts it into a towel. Let's say you take all the biryani, you put it into a towel, you pick up the towel, and he pours water, and whatever juices come out, it goes into a cup, and he just drinks that. So we're really shocked. We're thinking, all of this amazing food, why is it that we're eating, but the host is not even eating it, he's eating this, mutilated version of it in liquid. And then the host explained to us that he has a particular disease, that he can eat solid foods. But he has a craving for this food, so the only way he can go around even just getting a taste of it is he has to put the water through like a sieve, and whatever flavors come out, he can drink that, and that's all he could do. And my teacher told me at that time, I realized, subhanAllah, and my teacher who's telling me this, he's not wealthy, he's very poor. He just has a very humble, basic home, and he said, the fact that I'm not even the owner of this home, and I'm able to enjoy from this person's home more than the person himself, I understood that there's a difference between luxury and contentment and happiness. And on the other hand, you can live a very, very basic life, a normal 9 to 5, earning ends meet, being able to sustain yourself and your family. You may not have the most expensive car, the most expensive home, but you're comfortable. But this person is very content, very happy. Someone who feels that they can get a good night's rest. SubhanAllah, there's a scholar, he said once, in Arabic, he said that he saw a person holding onto a golden coin, a dinar. So the person holding a golden coin, and he's on the street, and he's just looking at it with so much obsession. He's looking at it, he's turning it. You can tell he's really obsessed with this golden coin. So the scholar who passes by, he sees him and he says, "Oh my brother, what's this in your hand?" And he said, "This is a golden dinar that belongs to me. A golden dinar that belongs to me." And he said, "I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but the dinar does not belong to you, you belong to your dinar. So long as you hold on to that dinar, your money, you belong to your money because your entire life is now to protect that money. Your entire life now is to protect that money. But the moment you spend it, then only are you able to benefit from it. So he said that money is such a deceptive thing that when you have it, you're the slave to the money, and when it leaves you, it becomes your slave. And that's how elusive it is. You know, subhanAllah, I was speaking to a brother the other day, and he told me the nature of his business is such that he works with a lot of clients who are in the really high percentile of wealthy people in the community. You know, very wealthy people. He works with millionaires. The particular type of job that he has really works with high-paying clients. He told me something that's really interesting. He said, in my life, I've met dozens, hundreds of millionaires. And the one thing that I've noticed about all millionaires and even billionaires, like very wealthy people, something very strange. He said the first thing I've noticed is whenever I go out for a meeting with these people, you would expect that they're so wealthy, there's no question about who's paying for the food. He said, I'm not expecting anyone to pay for it either. But we're going out for a meeting, and it's for your benefit, but there's this understanding that someone else has to pay. But he said, when I worked with clients who are much more frugal and don't have that much, they're always the first person willing to spend. And then he said, another thing I've noticed is, when I work with these clients, I always had this question. When you reach a certain amount of wealth, you realize that you can't really use that money. At some point, if you have $50 billion in your bank account, realistically speaking, and you're 45 years old, at some point, you can't do anything with it. So I asked a lot of my clients, what do you do with your money once you get all this money? You know, you have millions and millions and millions. You already have your home, you already have your car, your children's education done, and you're still working. What are you chasing after? You know, what do you want after this? Like, you have everything. Your food is sorted, you have investments, you have cars, you have homes, you have everything. What are you looking for? And he said, it's so interesting. He said that I've realized most of these very wealthy clients of mine, once they reach a particular bracket, let's say 30, 40 million, the rest of their life until their last breath is no longer about using the money, it's about protecting the money. So they're taking the money, they don't want to get taxed, so they're hiding it in a shell company. They're taking some money and they're putting it over here. They're hiding it over here. They're buying merchandise. And the whole life, the person is 70 years old, 75 years old, and he has millions. He's still working, and his only focus is, it's not about how much I'm going to use. I'm still going to buy a basic coffee that's $2. I'm still going to buy my croissant that's $1. I'm going to drive my very frugal economic car. What's my purpose of life right now? I need to make sure that what is mine, nobody touches it. And then when they die, he said, most of my clients, when they die, I have noticed the vast majority of the ones I've worked on and they passed away, they have died not even using a small fraction of their money. And then their heirs, they're the ones who are fighting over, oh, this belongs to me, this belongs to me. And he said the funniest part is, while they're trying to protect their money, they're not even able to use it. So again, it boils down to this very important distinction between perceived luxury and contentment. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, when he made dua for his family, subhanAllah, it's so beautiful. When he made dua for Alu Muhammad, his progeny, he said, Allahumma rzuq ala Muhammadin kafafa. Look at this very beautiful dua. He said, Ya Allah, my family, my Fatima, my Aisha, my Hassan and my Hussein, radiyallahu anhum, what do I want from them? He never said, Ya Allah, grant them a kingdom. Ya Allah, grant them wealth. He said, no. Ya Allah, grant them kafaf, grant them what is sufficient for their needs. What is sufficient for their needs. And that is the hadith that we're covering today. Very beautiful hadith. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says, it suffices a person, yakfi li rajulin khadimun wa markabun. It is sufficient for a person that they have enough for them to get from point A to point B, and they have some assistance in what they do. In the past, it was in the form of a khadim. What does a khadim mean? That I have somebody who comes, cleans up in the house, somebody who comes and helps with the children. Nowadays, a lot of people say, back in the days, life was so much easier. You had a khadim over here, one khadim fanning you, one khadim massaging your feet, one khadim getting you chai, all of that stuff. I said, subhanAllah, nowadays, we have so many khadims and you don't even realize it. Before, you needed to wait for the khadim to cook your food. Now you put it in the microwave. Before in the past, you needed your khadim to warm up the water. Now you just turn on the faucet and the water is hot. In the past, you needed the khadim to massage your feet. Now you get something on Amazon for $20. You put your feet over there. You carry on with your work. As you know, subhanAllah, Allah has blessed us so much. Forget about khadim. We live life more luxurious than the kings of the past. Right now, if I wanted, I could sit right now in this room, not even move. I'll open up an app and I'll say, you know what? I'm craving Chinese food. I don't want to move. I'm going to be a badshah. I'm going to sit right here. Very comfortably, I'm going to sit right here. I'm going to go on my app and I'm going to make an order. Chinese food is going to come to me in 20 minutes. You know what? No. I'm not craving Chinese food. I'm craving Mediterranean food. So I'll go on the app and I'll order something different. I'm like, no. You know what? I'll keep the Mediterranean food for tomorrow, Chinese food for the day after. For today, I'm really craving desi food. So I'm going to put, subhanAllah, we have so many blessings today, so many conveniences that we don't even realize. I just get onto my car and I'm driving from point A to point B. I get on a call, I'm speaking to my family. So we have to learn the difference between qana'ah. Qana'ah means contentment and wealth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam never made dua for wealth. He never said, Ya Allah, I want wealth. I want to be wealthy. No, I want mulk. I want kingdom. I want to be wealthy. No, it was always qana'ah. Allahumma qanni'ni fima a'taytani. Ya Allah, grant me happiness in whatever you have given me. And that is what we need to strive for. And subhanAllah, I'll be the first one to tell you, it's so much easier for me to say it than do it. It's so much easier for me. I'm going to tell everybody, mashallah, you need qana'ah, you need qana'ah. And then in my own life, I'm struggling. And I'm telling you, this is a human problem, how our eyes are so big, but our appetite isn't that big. This happens all the time. Subhanallah, you go to a place and you order all of this food and you can't even finish it. Why? Because our cravings are so much, but our capacity as human beings aren't that much. So the summary of this hadith, very powerful hadith, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us, learn the distinction between luxury and contentment. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam always asked for contentment. He made dua for his family that they have enough. Having enough doesn't mean you struggle. We always make dua. Ya Allah, never put me in a place where I'm struggling to support my family. Ya Allah, never put me in a place where I'm struggling to make ends meet. What comfort means, what contentment means, yes, I have enough savings. I have something to support my children. I can go for a vacation every once in a while. I can go out to eat with my family. I can have a comfortable life. There's nothing wrong with that. When does it become luxury and it becomes excessive? When it becomes excess? It becomes excess when the amount that I'm chasing after, the amount that I'm spending my entire day for is more than I can use in my own lifetime. In English they have a saying, do not bite on more than you can chew. Do not bite on more than you can chew. What is a very simple example? Sometimes you have a big burger, you're hungry. This happens all the time in Ramadan. You just finished breaking your fast, you're starving. Taraweeh is going to start in like 15 minutes and you need to eat quickly. That first bite that you take is so big, you have so much food in your mouth, you can't even close your jaw anymore. That's what you call biting on more than you can chew. And that is what is the difference between contentment and luxury. I have, alhamdulillah, enough money that I can pay my rent. I have enough money that I have a pension. I have enough money that I can support my children. I have enough money I can go for umrah when I want. I have enough money that if we want some basic comforts and basic necessities, and even above that, I want to go out for ice cream with my family. I want to go on a vacation. I have that. But now I'm thinking, I have one job. I realize I can get two jobs. I can work remotely, so I'm going to work one way over here. I'm going to have one screen over here. I'm going to have another screen. By the way, there's nothing wrong with that. If somebody has that situation, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm talking more about the philosophy. The philosophy is, I'm making $300,000 for my first job. Alhamdulillah, everything is covered. My children's education, I paid off my home, I paid off my car. I have everything comfortable. But then now I realize, you know what? My job is such, I just have to report back and move my cursor to show that I'm active every 1 hour. So why not start a second job? So now I'm going to start a second job. Again, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm talking about the mentality. Mentality is, then I can have two jobs. Now if I have two jobs, then I can buy a second home. And if I buy a second home, then I can put it on lease. Then I can have income. Inshallah, at some point I can retire and I never need to worry about working ever again. It's a very noble intention, nothing wrong with it. It's more about in reality what happens. I think I told the brothers over here this story before. I think it was about like 2 years ago, I got a lot of questions about, zakah and whatnot. So I remember one brother, he came up to me and he was just, talking, and he said, subhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed me with an apartment. I want to get a home. And he said, mashallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for you. Then a few days later, somebody came to my house, somebody came to me, he already had a home. And he says, mashallah, I have a home. I really want a second home. I said, yeah, may Allah make everything easy for you, may Allah give you another home. Then I had another person come to me like literally a few weeks after that, and he says, Imam Sahib, I have 3 homes, and now it's a big headache that I have to give so much taxes on this, and I don't even know what to do with it. I wish I just had one apartment. I said, subhanAllah, I should put all 3 people in one room, and inshallah, they all will be happy, inshallah. It's such a funny reality of this life. Is like, we get one, we want another one, we get another one, and then it becomes a headache. How do I take care of this? There's nothing wrong with it. Instead of worrying about the specific materialistic things, we need to focus about mentality. What is my mentality? Subhanallah, I can have $1 million in my bank account and I can be a wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I can have $1 billion. Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, radiyallahu an, he was so wealthy that when the Khilafah needed money, he sent Umar radiyallahu anhu just a fraction of his wealth. And they said he sent so many camels that you can see the camels coming with his own wealth to help the Khilafah. The train of camels are so long that they're coming and it looks like they're never going to end. Yet, you'll find some of the munafiqun and some of the kuffar so poor, they didn't even have a house to live in. So wealth isn't the problem. It's the mentality of what do I do with it? What do I think about it? What role does it play in my life? And I'm going to end on this, in that same story I mentioned in the beginning, that if I'm holding on to the wealth just to protect it, then I am the slave to my wealth. But if I spend it, particularly in good things, but even if it's for my own comfort, for my family's comfort, fi dunya wal akhirah, nothing wrong with that, then I am not a slave to the money. And that is what Rasulullah ﷺ says, look for kafaf. Look for what is sufficient, don't look for luxury. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us this beautiful quality of contentment and not being obsessed over luxury. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us happiness in whatever He has given us and not make us among those people who look for more without the need for it. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Subhanallah wa bihamdi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Jazakumullahu khairan wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.